Greetings and welcome to the Sleep Science Top 1. It is a pleasure to see that you have arrived at this place. The world beyond is frequently bustling and noisy. Yet within this space, a serene atmosphere prevails, allowing time to linger, a realm where inquisitive souls may gently succumb to slumber or wander through thoughts while at ease. This evening, the discussion transcends mere neurons and brain scans. It invites us to enter the very essence of the mind, into that peculiar, radiant realm where thoughts take shape, memories awaken, and the experience of self truly flourishes. The exploration will delve into 100 captivating insights regarding consciousness, uncovering the brain's concealed workings and extraordinary instances that question our fundamental understanding. Some of what you will hear may resonate with you, while other elements might surprise you, lingering in your thoughts long after you awaken. As we prepare to embark on this journey, if these serene and inquisitive reflections assist you in finding relaxation or provide a soothing conclusion to your day, feel free to show your support by liking and subscribing, or by sharing your thoughts in the comments below. It guides others to discover their path here as well, one drowsy spirit at a time. At this moment, the stage is set for the journey ahead. There remains a lack of consensus among scientists regarding a unified definition of consciousness. Inquire of 10 specialists regarding the nature of consciousness, and you may receive 10 distinct responses. Some describe it merely as the recognition of the environment and the contemplation of one's inner thoughts. Some perceive it as a complex journey, encompassing not only observation, but also introspection, recollection, and the capacity to envision what lies ahead. Philosophers, neuroscientists, and psychologists frequently examine the subject from distinct perspectives, employing varied terminology to articulate what could potentially be the same concept. The question of whether animals, machines, or newborn infants possess consciousness can ignite fervent discussions. The absence of agreement renders the exploration of consciousness particularly difficult. Measuring something that lacks consensus from the outset proves to be a challenging endeavor. In spite of the progress made in brain imaging and the increase in computing power, the field remains divided, lacking a unifying theory. At present, consciousness stands as one of the most captivating enigmas in science, and arguably the most intimate journey we can undertake. The human brain produces electrical energy, equivalent to a dim light bulb. The human brain functions through electricity, though not like a household appliance. It relies on electrochemical signals, transmitted by billions of neurons. As ions flow in and out of the cell, each neuron produces subtle voltage changes, contributing to the distinctive electrical patterns of the brain. This activity generates approximately 20 watts of power, sufficient to illuminate a small bulb. It is truly astonishing to observe the extent of the brain's achievements with such minimal energy expenditure. The unassuming electrical output orchestrates each thought, movement, sensation, and emotion with remarkable precision. Even during slumber, the brain remains active, overseeing vital bodily functions and sifting through memories. Contemporary computers frequently demand significantly more energy to perform tasks that are much simpler than what the human brain accomplishes in mere moments. It stands as a reflection of the intricate workings and enigmatic nature of the biological systems that govern your conscious existence. During surgery, there's a small risk that a patient might wake up or become aware if the anesthesia isn't fully effective. About 1 to 2 cases per 1,000. For many individuals, general anesthesia is experienced as a sudden descent into sleep, followed by an awakening devoid of any recollection of the intervening moments. However, there are exceptional instances when a patient may become aware during surgery, experiencing consciousness while under anesthesia. The experience may vary from a faint recognition of voices and sensations of pressure to the sensation of pain, all while being rendered immobile and mute by muscle relaxants. It is estimated by researchers that this occurrence takes place in 1 to 2 instances for every 1,000 surgeries that involve general anesthesia. Elements such as underdosing, individual metabolism, or an atypically high resistance to anesthetic drugs can elevate the risk. Contemporary monitoring techniques have diminished the chances, yet no approach is without flaw. The phenomenon unsettles not only patients, but also anesthesiologists, as it underscores the significant gaps in our understanding of the precise mechanisms of consciousness and the reliable methods to control its activation and deactivation. The brain remains conscious for a few moments, even after the heart ceases to beat. When the heart ceases to pump blood, consciousness may not fade away immediately. Research involving patients who have experienced cardiac arrest reveals that brain activity may continue for several seconds even after circulation has stopped. In certain instances, individuals who have come close to death have recounted strikingly vivid perceptions and memories during that fleeting moment, even detailing occurrences that took place while they were considered clinically dead. It is believed by scientists that this persistent awareness could stem from the brain utilizing its last reserves of oxygen and glucose prior to ceasing function. In those final moments, the organized neural activity unfolds, giving rise to extraordinary sensations like tunnels of light or an enhanced sense of clarity. Although this does not confirm that consciousness endures beyond death, it implies that the decline of awareness may unfold in a more gradual manner than we typically believe, and that the brain's final moments could be significantly more intricate than merely flipping a switch. Certain patients in a coma have the ability to convey messages solely through brain scans. A coma is often perceived as a state of total unconsciousness. However, advanced imaging techniques have uncovered that certain patients labeled as unresponsive may still possess pockets of awareness. In specialized experiments, researchers have prompted these patients to envision themselves playing tennis or strolling through their home. Every mental task generates a unique pattern of brain activity that can be identified through functional MRI, through the assignment of affirmative or negative responses to particular imagery tasks. Certain patients have managed to convey their thoughts without the need for speech or movement. This breakthrough carries significant weight for diagnosis and care, providing families with a means to connect and granting patients a voice when their bodies are unable to respond. It compels scientists to reconsider the essence of consciousness, highlighting that the distinction between awareness and unawareness may be much more delicate than conventional bedside assessments indicate. Non-conscious vision capability permits reactions without perceived sight. Shadow sight represents a unique and intriguing phenomenon, where individuals with damage to their primary visual cortex may lose the capacity for conscious visual perception, yet retain the ability to react to visual stimuli. For instance, a patient with shadow sight might accurately identify the position of an object or perceive its motion, despite claiming complete blindness in that area of their visual field. It is believed by scientists that this phenomenon occurs due to visual signals navigating through alternative neural pathways, circumventing the damaged area and arriving at brain regions responsible for movement and orientation, all without generating conscious vision. Shadow sight presents a thought-provoking challenge to the notion that perception and awareness are inherently linked, revealing how the brain can adeptly process intricate information without it ever becoming part of conscious awareness. Brain hemisphere disconnection creates separate awareness paths. Divided mind procedure, historically utilized to address severe epilepsy, involves the severing of the corpus callosum, the substantial bundle of nerve fibers that links the two hemispheres of the brain. Individuals who experience this procedure are able to carry out their daily activities without disruption. Yet in controlled experiments, each hemisphere demonstrates the ability to process information on its own. For instance, when an image is presented solely to the right hemisphere, which governs the left hand but lacks control over speech, the patient might struggle to name it. However, they can skillfully draw it with their left hand. This implies that each hemisphere possesses its distinct interpretation of consciousness. The occurrence prompts profound inquiries. Is there now a duality of minds coexisting within a single body? Is it possible that consciousness retains its unity even in the face of division? Some substances have the ability to wipe away memories while leaving cognitive abilities intact. Certain medications, especially those belonging to the sedative and anesthetic categories, have the potential to disrupt the brain's capacity to create new memories, all while preserving other cognitive functions. Memory veil drug, for instance, has the ability to render a person alert and engaging during a medical procedure, while ultimately leaving them with no recollection of the experience afterward. This phenomenon, known as anterograde amnesia, affects the hippocampus, a crucial area for transforming short-term memories into long-term ones. Although this property serves a purpose in mitigating trauma or distress during surgery, it also underscores the distinction between memory and consciousness, revealing that while they are interconnected, they are not the same. One can be completely present in the moment, only to find that the essence of that awareness fades away in the hours or days that come after. Some individuals encounter a profound dissolution of self while meditating. In certain advanced meditation practices, especially during extended retreats or profound states of concentration, practitioners often experience what they refer to as ego dissolution, a fleeting moment where the sense of being a distinct self fades away. In these moments, perception can seem expansive and limitless. As thoughts may slow or cease, the line separating the self from the world can fade or disappear completely. Brain scans of seasoned meditators reveal changes in activity within areas associated with self-referential processing, including the inner drift network. Though frequently characterized as serene or freeing, the experience may prove bewildering for those who are not ready for it. Examining these states provides a unique perspective on the adaptability and fluidity of our identity. A fully conscious mind finds itself ensnared within a paralyzed body, unable to escape the confines of its locked-in state. Complete bodily paralysis with preserved mental alertness. Most are unable to speak, move, or even blink, although a few maintain some degree of eye movement. Communication is achieved solely through meticulous eye-tracking systems or by blinking in reply to yes or no inquiries. Even in the face of a challenging condition, cognitive abilities and personality frequently stay unaffected. For the individual within, it may seem as though they are confined in a still body, experiencing a total disconnection between thought and action. This condition highlights the distinction between being aware and the capacity to articulate that awareness, illustrating why contemporary neuroscience increasingly depends on technology to identify consciousness in the absence of external indicators. Individuals are capable of executing intricate tasks even in a state of slumber, such as operating a vehicle. Elaborate non-conscious activity during sleep. Most episodes feature straightforward actions, such as wandering through the house. Yet there are exceptional instances where individuals have been observed preparing meals, exiting their residences, and even operating vehicles, while remaining, in essence, asleep. In these episodes, the brain's motor control systems engage, while higher reasoning and memory formation remain largely inactive. This explains why sleepwalkers frequently lack recollection of their actions once they awaken. The phenomenon reveals that not every action and choice necessitates complete conscious awareness. Intricate patterns may emerge solely through instinctive mechanisms. Though captivating, it carries risks, particularly when an individual interacts with environmental dangers without the discernment that accompanies complete awareness. In a state of wakefulness, one finds themselves trapped, unable to move, ensnared by the grip of dawn freeze, awakening immobility with hallucinations. Individuals undergoing this experience become acutely aware, capable of seeing and hearing, yet entirely immobilized and voiceless. The experience may endure for a brief moment or extend over several minutes, frequently accompanied by striking hallucinations, including the sensation of an unseen presence nearby or glimpses of shadowy figures. These sensations are perceived as dream imagery, merging with wakefulness, heightened by the brain's fear response. Awakening immobility with hallucinations, while not inherently dangerous, can evoke a profound sense of unease due to its intensity. Recognizing it as a fleeting disconnect between the mind and physical sensations may alleviate fear, yet in that instant, the feeling of exposure can be quite intense. In life-threatening events, the perception of time can slow down significantly. Numerous individuals who have encountered accidents, falls, or other perilous circumstances recount the experience as unfolding in a gradual, almost deliberate manner. It is believed by scientists that this phenomenon arises from the brain's increased focus and memory function when faced with stress. In perilous moments, the amygdala, a region integral to emotional reactions, prompts the brain to capture additional details within each fleeting second. In later reflections on the event, the added details create an impression that a greater span of time had elapsed than was truly the case. As the pace of deception diminishes, the speed of reaction does not inherently rise. It revolves around the mind, expanding the instant within recollection. This instance of distortion serves as a crucial tool for survival, sharpening your attention on essential elements, while also revealing the fluidity of our perception of time across various states of awareness. Psychedelics like LSD or psilocybin can temporarily cause ego dissolution, blurring the boundary between self and everything else. Substances such as LSD, psilocybin, and DMT can lead to a phenomenon referred to as ego dissolution, in which the usual distinctions between self and surroundings become indistinct or vanish entirely. Individuals frequently express experiencing a profound connection with their surroundings, as though the notion of self has been transformed into a more expansive consciousness. Research involving brain imaging indicates that mind expanders diminish activity within the inner drift network, a collection of brain areas associated with self-referential thought. As this network is dialed down, the mind may find itself less tethered to the personal narrative that typically shapes consciousness. The experience may bring feelings of euphoria or enlightenment, yet it can also lead to disorientation, with researchers continuing to explore its long-term effects. This fleeting alteration of perception provides scholars with significant understanding of how the mind forms our sense of self. Some brains possess the remarkable ability to rewire themselves, enabling recovery from significant injury. The brain possesses a remarkable ability to reorganize itself, creating new neural connections in response to experiences and learning. Following a stroke, traumatic brain injury, or the surgical removal of brain tissue, the surviving areas of the brain can occasionally assume the roles previously managed by the affected regions. This transformation can take place through therapy, practice, and even unexpected adjustments. For instance, when a specific area of the motor cortex sustains an injury, the adjacent neurons may slowly adapt to take over the control of the muscles that have been impacted. In instances of language loss, various regions of the brain can forge new connections for communication. The degree of recovery is influenced by various elements, such as age, overall health, and the rehabilitation process. However, neuroplasticity reveals that the brain possesses a remarkable level of adaptability, surpassing previous beliefs. The ability to self-repair plays a vital role in comprehending the persistence and adaptability of consciousness, even in the face of physical harm. Brain damage has the potential to alter one's personality in an instant. Certain brain injuries extend beyond mere memory or motor skill impairment. They can transform personality to such an extent that friends and family find themselves interacting with someone they hardly recognize. Among the most renowned cases is that of railroad pioneer case, a railroad worker from the 19th century who endured the passage of an iron rod through his skull and lived to tell the tale. He maintained his intelligence and fundamental skills, yet those familiar with him remarked that he had become impulsive, irritable, and unreliable. When the frontal lobes, particularly the prefrontal cortex, suffer damage, It can lead to significant disruptions in decision-making, emotional regulation, and social behavior. These changes illuminate the notion that personality, which we frequently perceive as a stable and intrinsic part of ourselves, is also intertwined with the intricacies of brain structures and chemistry. It serves as a poignant reminder that our sense of self and awareness are intricately linked to the well-being and stability of our neural networks. Phantom limb sensations deceive the mind, creating the illusion of absent body parts. Following an amputation, numerous individuals still experience sensations, and at times even pain, in the absent limb. This phenomenon, referred to as ghost limb feeling, arises from the brain's body map not updating immediately following the loss. Neurons in the somatosensory cortex, responsible for processing touch and movement, remain responsive to signals from adjacent regions, leading to the perception that the limb continues to exist. In certain instances, sensations become so intense that individuals instinctively attempt to move or scratch the absent limb. Treatments such as mirror therapy, employing visual feedback to retrain the brain, have the potential to alleviate discomfort. Phantom limbs illustrate how our perception of the body is shaped by the brain, enduring even when the physical world transforms. Some individuals who are blind have the ability to perceive their surroundings through the use of clicks and echoes. Some blind individuals acquire a unique ability akin to echolocation, creating sounds through mouth clicks or tapping their canes and attentively listening to the echoes that return from surrounding objects. Through dedicated training, individuals can discern distances, shapes, and even textures by interpreting subtle variations in sound. Brain scans reveal that in adept echolocators, regions of the visual cortex, typically engaged in sight processing, activate when deciphering these echoes. This adaptation showcases the brain's extraordinary capacity to transform dormant areas for novel sensory functions. Though echolocation does not serve as a substitute for conventional vision, it provides a means for navigation and spatial awareness that surpasses the expectations of many sighted individuals regarding what can be achieved without sight. Lack of sensory input generates internal visions. In the absence of sensory input for extended durations, like in a dark, soundproof room, the brain frequently starts to create its own sensations. Individuals immersed in sensory deprivation settings might perceive moving light patterns, detect elusive sounds, or even encounter intricate scenes and voices. These hallucinations occur as the brain perpetually anticipates and completes sensory information in the absence of real input. Those predictions can spiral out of control. Although brief moments of sensory isolation may offer a sense of relaxation, extended periods of such deprivation can lead to feelings of disorientation or unease. This response emphasizes the extent to which conscious perception is actively shaped instead of merely absorbed. While asleep, lucid dreamers have the ability to engage in communication with scientists. Dream control state unfolds as an individual realizes they are within a dream, often gaining the ability to steer the course of the dream's narrative. Recent studies reveal that researchers have discovered methods to engage with lucid dreamers in real time. While in REM sleep, dreamers are presented with straightforward yes or no questions, responding through eye movements in designated patterns or particular facial twitches. These experiments demonstrate that two-way communication can occur within a dream, revealing fresh possibilities for exploring consciousness in altered states. This serves as a striking illustration that consciousness extends beyond the boundaries of waking existence, revealing that even amidst the fabric of a dream, a segment of the mind remains connected to reality. During certain epileptic seizures, consciousness may be temporarily lost. Not every epileptic seizure leads to striking transformations. Some, referred to as absence seizures or complex partial seizures, can momentarily disrupt conscious awareness while the individual remains physically still or engages in minor automatic behaviors. From an external perspective, it may appear as though the individual has merely halted in the midst of a thought or is lost in contemplation. Within, there frequently exists a complete absence of recollection regarding the event. These events may unfold in mere seconds, yet they entirely erase conscious experience in that fleeting moment. Brain recordings reveal abrupt, synchronized electrical activities coursing through specific neural networks, interrupting the usual patterns essential for awareness. As the individual swiftly makes their way back, they remain blissfully unaware of the passage of time. These seizures illustrate the remarkable ability to toggle consciousness in an instant, all while maintaining other essential brain functions, such as breathing, posture, and even fundamental movements. Deep brain stimulation has the ability to toggle awareness, turning it on and off. Deep brain stimulation, or DBS, entails the implantation of electrodes into targeted areas of the brain to provide accurate electrical pulses. Initially created to address movement disorders such as Parkinson's disease, DBS has revealed remarkable impacts on consciousness in specific patients. In exceptional instances, the stimulation of the thalamus, a crucial relay center for sensory signals, has brought back awareness in individuals who were once in minimally conscious states. On the other hand, activating certain regions can briefly interrupt consciousness, akin to toggling a switch. These findings indicate that consciousness relies on a fragile equilibrium of activity among interconnected brain networks, and that electrical manipulation of these networks can significantly transform mental states. Although DBS does not serve as a remedy for disorders of consciousness, it provides significant understanding of the circuitry that underpins our experience of being awake and aware. Sudden sleep disorder can lead individuals to suddenly fall into REM sleep. Sudden sleep disorder represents a neurological disorder that interferes with the brain's ability to manage sleep and wakefulness effectively. Among its most striking symptoms is cataplexy, a sudden loss of muscle strength brought on by intense emotions like laughter or surprise. In certain instances, an individual may move straight from being awake into REM sleep, skipping the slow progression through the lighter stages of sleep. As the body enters REM, it experiences a natural paralysis designed to prevent the enactment of dreams, leading to the possibility of an unforeseen collapse with a sudden transition into this state. Though it may seem otherwise, the individual retains awareness during cataplexy episodes. However, in the case of narcoleptic sleep attacks, this consciousness is swiftly overtaken by vivid dream imagery. Research into sudden sleep disorder has provided insights into the mechanisms by which the brain transitions between various states of consciousness, shedding light on the reasons these shifts can occasionally malfunction. In rare instances, individuals may experience the ability to hear colors and taste shapes. Sense blend represents a fascinating neurological phenomenon where the activation of one sense seamlessly evokes perceptions in another. Although the most prevalent manifestations include perceiving colors in response to sounds or linking numbers to particular shades, there exist some rare instances that are even more extraordinary. An individual may experience distinct flavors when feeling particular textures, or perceive unique pitches when gazing at vibrant colors. Brain imaging studies reveal that in individuals with sense blend, sensory regions exhibit a greater degree of interconnection, enabling signals to traverse between areas that typically remain distinct. For those who encounter it, sense blend unfolds in a manner that is both consistent and involuntary. The consistent sound invariably evokes the identical color, the same form, and the unchanging flavor. As the narrative unfolds, it enriches the world with depth and complexity, prompting reflections on the nature of perception, what is shared among all, and what is uniquely crafted within each individual's mind. For certain individuals, their recollections allow them to vividly experience any moment from their past with remarkable clarity. A select few possess a remarkable ability known as perfect life recall, or HSAM, allowing them to vividly remember the events of nearly any day in their lives with extraordinary precision. Inquire about a seemingly arbitrary date from long ago, and they can vividly recount the weather, their attire, and the activities they engaged in frequently providing more intricate details than any diary could capture. Brain scans indicate nuanced variations in areas associated with memory, storage, and retrieval. Yet the precise origin of HSAM remains elusive. Though this ability may appear to be a blessing, numerous individuals with HSAM express that it can be quite overwhelming, as the unwanted memories are as vivid as the cherished ones. The condition presents researchers with a vivid illustration of the intricate relationship between memory and consciousness, revealing the outcomes when the brain's recall mechanisms function at their peak intensity. Deep suggestion trance has the ability to alleviate pain without the need for medication. Deep suggestion trance represents a state where attention is sharply focused and suggestibility is heightened, often facilitated by a skilled practitioner. In medical settings, it has been utilized to assist patients in undergoing dental work, minor surgery, or childbirth, without the use of conventional anesthesia. When under deep suggestion trance, individuals may receive suggestions that allow them to reinterpret sensations of pain, lessen feelings of anxiety, or experience numbness in particular parts of their body. Brain imaging reveals that deep suggestion trance has the ability to modify activity in areas responsible for processing pain, leading to a decrease in both the emotional and sensory aspects of discomfort. Although reactions may vary among individuals, for those who are receptive, deep suggestion trance reveals that perception can be fluid and adaptable. The mind possesses the remarkable ability to transform its perception of pain by harnessing expectation, concentration, and conviction. Placebos have the power to evoke genuine physical healing within both the brain and the body. The belief healing response manifests when an individual's symptoms show improvement following a treatment devoid of any active ingredient, solely due to their belief in its efficacy. The phenomenon of placebo responses extends beyond mere mental perception, manifesting in quantifiable alterations in brain chemistry. For instance, the mere belief that one has consumed a painkiller can trigger the brain to release its own natural opioids, leading to a decrease in discomfort. Placebos have demonstrated their ability to influence various conditions, from depression to Parkinson's disease, by engaging the brain's inherent healing mechanisms. Although this effect does not replace established medical treatments, it highlights the significant role that expectations and belief play in influencing conscious experience and physical well-being. Examining it may assist researchers in creating therapies that more directly utilize these mechanisms. Body signal training enables individuals to regulate their heart rate and temperature. Body signal training employs sensors to deliver immediate information regarding functions that typically elude our conscious control, including heart rate, skin temperature, and muscle tension. Through observing this feedback and modifying their breathing, concentration, or muscle relaxation, individuals can discover ways to directly impact these processes. Through consistent practice, body signal training emerges as a powerful tool for alleviating stress, managing chronic pain, and enhancing athletic performance. Certain advanced practitioners possess the ability to elevate the temperature of their hands by several degrees or to reduce their heart rate to levels commonly associated with deep meditation. This ability reveals a surprising flexibility in the boundary between conscious and unconscious body control, suggesting that awareness, when combined with appropriate tools, can access aspects of physiology that typically function independently of our influence. Extended periods of solitude may lead the mind to become disoriented regarding the passage of time. When individuals find themselves isolated from external signals, such as sunlight, timepieces, and social engagement, their innate perception of time can swiftly become disoriented. In experiments involving volunteers who spent weeks or months in isolated environments, many found themselves losing track of the day-night cycle, leading them to unknowingly adopt much longer or shorter days. Some expressed a sensation that merely a handful of days had slipped by, while in reality, weeks had elapsed. The brain depends significantly on external cues to stabilize its internal clock. In their absence, consciousness may start to meander into its own tempo. This phenomenon carries significant consequences for astronauts, submarine crews, and others engaged in closed artificial settings. There are individuals who recall occurrences that never took place, holding on to those memories with unwavering certainty. False memories represent recollections of events that seem genuine yet never took place, or unfolded in a manner distinct from how they are remembered. Such phenomena may emerge organically, stemming from the brain's inclination to complete absent information, or they can be deliberately introduced through suggestion. Experiments have demonstrated that individuals can be guided to recall complete fictional events, like the experience of being lost in a mall during childhood, with remarkable certainty. Brain scans revealing false memory recall frequently mirror those associated with genuine memories, indicating that the brain employs comparable mechanisms for retrieving both types of recollections. This blending of reality and imagination reveals that conscious experience does not serve as an accurate account of the past. Rather, it is a continuous reconstruction, susceptible to mistakes at every turn. The essence of consciousness might hinge on the intricate connections within the brain, rather than merely its size. The size of the brain, by itself, does not serve as a dependable indicator of the intricacies of consciousness. Whales and elephants boast larger brains than humans. However, humans exhibit far denser and more efficient neural connections. The arrangement of these pathways, along with the speed and efficiency of information transfer between brain regions, appears to hold the greatest significance. The ability of the brain to operate efficiently enables the seamless blending of sensory information, memories, and choices, creating a unified perception of reality. A smaller brain, equipped with connections fine-tuned for efficiency, can surpass a larger, more loosely connected brain in specific cognitive tasks. This explains why certain birds and primates, even with smaller brains, exhibit problem-solving skills that are on par with those of young humans. Examining these distinctions implies that consciousness might arise not so much from the number of neurons, but rather from the brain's capacity to swiftly and seamlessly coordinate extensive networks of information. In other terms, the wiring could very well be the essential basis of awareness. The tiniest recognized conscious brain is found within an insect. Despite their tiny brains, honeybees and other insects engage in tasks that imply a certain level of awareness. Despite having fewer than 1 million neurons in its brain, significantly less than humans, a bee exhibits remarkably complex behaviors. The remarkable abilities of bees include their capacity to navigate vast distances, their skill in recognizing individual faces, and their unique method of communication through complex waggle dances to convey the locations of food. It has been demonstrated that they possess the ability to grasp abstract concepts such as sameness and difference, showcasing their capacity for flexible thinking. As scientists engage in a lively debate over the nature of consciousness, it becomes evident that these abilities extend well beyond mere reflexes. These miniature brains illustrate that mental sophistication can emerge without the need for extensive neural structures. Examining insects reveals insights into how even the smallest systems can effectively gather information, make choices, and adjust to evolving situations. Capabilities typically linked to much larger and more intricate entities. Intellect. Neurons are found throughout the arms of octopuses, showcasing a fascinating aspect of their biology. In contrast to humans, octopuses distribute a significant portion of their nervous system throughout their bodies rather than concentrating it in their heads. Approximately 2/3 of their neurons reside in their arms, allowing each limb to independently sense, taste, and coordinate movement. An octopus arm exhibits an astonishing ability to respond to stimuli and handle objects independently, even when severed from its body. This distributed control allows an octopus to perceive the world in a manner that is fundamentally different from our own, with several semi-independent processing centers collaborating harmoniously. It questions our traditional views of consciousness, which rely on the idea of a singular, dominant brain. orchestrating everything. Through the examination of octopuses, researchers uncover valuable insights into the potential development of intelligence and awareness in beings with entirely distinct neural structures, possibly suggesting ways in which extraterrestrial life could perceive the world. Certain birds exhibit problem-solving abilities that are on par with those of young children. Crows, ravens, and parrots exhibit remarkable cognitive skills, showcasing intelligence that belies their smaller brain size compared to mammals. New Caledonian crows have been seen bending pieces of wire into hooks to access food, a form of tool-making that demonstrates foresight and planning. African grey parrots have demonstrated an impressive ability to comprehend numbers, colors, and the very notion of zero. These skills indicate a degree of mental adaptability and problem-solving capability that was previously considered exclusive to humans and great apes. Birds accomplish this through a remarkably efficient brain structure known as the pallium, which densely packs neurons and connects them in intricate patterns. Their abilities demonstrate that advanced problem-solving and potentially even forms of conscious awareness can develop in species possessing brain anatomy that differs significantly from our own. Machines are capable of mimicking human speech, yet they lack any form of consciousness. Contemporary artificial intelligence possesses the ability to engage in dialogue, respond to inquiries, and even produce imaginative writing. These systems depend on statistical patterns found within extensive datasets, forecasting the words that are most likely to follow. Though the responses may appear to be thoughtful or even emotional, they lack any subjective experience, devoid of an internal sense of meaning. The difference between mimicking comprehension and genuinely possessing it plays a crucial role in discussions surrounding machine consciousness. A machine may replicate human-like output flawlessly, yet it remains devoid of consciousness. It processes symbols, oblivious to their meanings. This emphasizes that behavior alone may not always indicate the presence of consciousness. The symbol room puzzle explores the depths of whether computers possess genuine thought capabilities. In the realm of philosophical inquiry, John Searle presents the Chinese room thought experiment, envisioning an individual devoid of any understanding of the Chinese language, confined within a room, equipped solely with guidelines for the manipulation of Chinese characters. From an external perspective, the replies appear smooth and articulate, yet beneath the surface lies a lack of understanding, merely adherence to established protocols. Searle suggests that computers might function similarly, handling inputs and outputs devoid of any genuine comprehension. This challenges the notion that simply providing correct answers suffices to demonstrate awareness. The argument continues to hold significant sway in the philosophy of mind, prompting the inquiry: must a system possess subjective experience to qualify as intelligent, or is behavior sufficient on its own? The enduring challenge of consciousness continues to elude resolution, even after years of discussion. Philosopher David Chalmers introduced the term deep mystery of feeling to articulate the difficulty of elucidating how physical brain processes give rise to subjective experiences. While science can identify the regions of the brain that light up in response to colors or emotions, it falls short in elucidating why these experiences resonate within us in a profound way. The divide between objective measurement and subjective experience has withstood decades of inquiry. Some believe that the answer lies in advancements in neuroscience. Some hold the view that it might necessitate a profound rethinking of the very nature of reality. Until a solution is found, the challenging issue continues to be one of the most profound enigmas in the realm of science. Theories such as universal mind theory suggest that awareness permeates all matter, while psychism posits that consciousness is an essential characteristic of the universe, manifesting in some capacity across everything, from humans and animals to rocks and particles. Advocates contend that this approach circumvents the difficult issue by suggesting that consciousness does not have to arise abruptly from intricate systems. Critics highlight the challenges in testing this idea, cautioning that it may extend the definition of consciousness beyond reasonable limits. Nevertheless, it is attracting interest from certain philosophers and scientists who view it as a potential link between physical processes and subjective experience. In the realm of quantum theories, it is suggested that consciousness emerges from the intricate dance of subatomic processes. Some researchers propose that quantum mechanics could be involved in consciousness, where minute occurrences within neurons affect mental states. The autor theory suggests that quantum processes occurring within microtubules, the structural elements of cells, may play a role in the emergence of awareness. This topic stirs debate, as it is believed that the brain's warm biological setting may interfere with fragile quantum states. Although direct evidence remains scarce, delving into these concepts allows for the intriguing possibility that consciousness may be linked to the universe's most essential physical laws. Numerous scientists regard the concept of quantum consciousness as improbable. Most neuroscientists dismiss quantum theories of consciousness, contending that classical physics adequately accounts for brain function. Observations of quantum effects in biology, such as in photosynthesis, highlight intriguing possibilities. However, extending these concepts to encompass intricate mental processes presents a significantly larger challenge. Existing brain models effectively explain perception, memory, and decision-making without the need for quantum mechanics. The debate continues, fueled by the profound mystery of consciousness, which keeps even the most improbable explanations captivating. Brainwaves, moving at varying speeds, are connected to different mental states. The brain exhibits electrical activity in rhythmic patterns, referred to as brainwaves. The waves are categorized by their frequency, measured in cycles per second, known as hertz, with each type associated with distinct mental states. Rapid waves often emerge during periods of active thought, whereas slower waves prevail during relaxation or deep slumber. Brainwaves can be measured by scientists through the use of electroencephalography, or EEG, which involves placing electrodes on the scalp to capture subtle changes in voltage. This technology uncovers the truth that our mental state is always in flux. The brain perpetually transitions between various rhythms, influenced by our actions and emotions. The connection between these frequencies and consciousness indicates that awareness is not a singular entity, but rather a fluid pattern that evolves over the course of the day, oscillating between quick flashes of creativity and the calm, rhythmic flows of air. Profound tranquility. Gamma waves play a significant role in the realms of problem-solving and memory processing. Gamma waves represent the swiftest brain activity, oscillating at a rate exceeding 30 cycles per second. They are linked to advanced cognitive abilities, including intricate problem-solving, memory retrieval, and the synthesis of information from various sensory inputs. In moments of realization, when two ideas converge, there is often a noticeable increase in gamma activity. It is believed that these waves assist in synchronizing various areas of the brain, merging distinct fragments of information into a cohesive understanding. Interestingly, it has been observed that experienced meditators occasionally exhibit unusually high gamma activity, indicating that specific mental training may have an impact on these patterns. Although gamma waves are not the only factor influencing intelligence or creativity, they seem to significantly contribute to the fluid and interconnected essence of conscious thought. Alpha waves manifest during a state of relaxed alertness. Alpha waves exhibit a slower rhythm compared to gamma waves, oscillating between 8 to 12 cycles each second. They stand out the most in moments of tranquility, like during peaceful contemplation or as one drifts off to sleep. When one closes their eyes and minimizes visual stimuli, there is often an increase in alpha activity, indicating a transition into a state of deeper internal focus. The waves connect to a decrease in stress, an increase in creativity, and a boost in learning, likely by sifting through unnecessary sensory details. Engaging in practices such as meditation and deep breathing enhances alpha wave activity, potentially shedding light on their soothing influence on the mind. For neuroscientists, alpha waves reveal insights into the brain's ability to maintain a delicate equilibrium between active engagement with the external environment and a tranquil focus on internal reflection. Theta waves connect to the realms of dreaming and creativity. Theta waves exhibit a slower oscillation, occurring at a rate of 4 to 8 times per second, and are predominantly observed during light sleep, REM dreaming, and deep meditation. They frequently evoke striking visuals, flights of fancy, and bursts of imaginative inspiration. In these states, the mind appears to roam without restraint, forging surprising links between memories and ideas. Individuals intentionally immerse themselves in etheric states via meditation or deep suggestion trance to foster creative problem-solving. Theta waves, associated with the brain's inner drift network, might contribute to the processing of emotions and the integration of experiences into long-term memory. The interplay of imagination, reflection, and memory renders theta activity an intriguing element in the study of consciousness. In the realm of deep, dreamless sleep, delta waves reign supreme. Delta waves represent the slowest activity of the brain, oscillating at a rate of fewer than 4 cycles per second. They stand out most during the deepest phases of non-REM sleep, a time when the body engages in tissue repair, fortifies the immune system, and solidifies specific kinds of memories. In this state, conscious awareness diminishes significantly, while the brain continues to operate vigorously to sustain vital bodily functions. High delta activity is observed in infants and young children as their brains undergo rapid development. For adults, sufficient time spent in delta sleep is crucial for both physical recovery and mental well-being. The interruption of this phase may result in a sense of fatigue, despite having slept for an entire night. The brain generates electrical ripples during the process of memory formation. As new information is stored in the brain, it produces fleeting surges of high-frequency electrical activity, referred to as ripples. The events unfold mainly within the hippocampus, a crucial area for the formation of memories, aiding in the replay and reinforcement of recent experiences. During slow-wave sleep, the brain experiences particularly vigorous ripple activity, a crucial time for consolidating memories into long-term storage. It is believed by scientists that these electrical ripples enable various regions of the brain to synchronize, thereby strengthening neural connections. In animal studies, the disruption of ripples can hinder learning, whereas their enhancement may lead to improved memory retention. Grasping these patterns unveils promising avenues for addressing memory disorders. Oxygen deprivation can trigger hallucinatory states. When the brain experiences a lack of oxygen, known as hypoxia, the way one perceives the world can shift significantly. Individuals might encounter vivid bursts of light, a constricted field of vision, or even intricate illusions. This may occur in situations such as high-altitude climbing, deep diving, or during medical emergencies. Decreased oxygen levels interfere with typical neural functions, especially in areas responsible for visual processing and spatial orientation. Such peculiar perceptions frequently come hand in hand with feelings of confusion, dizziness, or a disconnection from reality. Although often perilous, the examination of these altered states provides researchers with insights into the delicate nature of conscious perception, particularly when the fundamental needs of the brain are at stake. Astronauts have shared experiences of vivid dreams and hallucinations while in space. Life aboard the International Space Station offers a unique perspective that can transform understanding in surprising manners. Astronauts have reported experiencing remarkably vivid dreams, encountering flashes of light behind their closed eyelids, and at times, perceiving phantom sounds. Certain experiences arise from cosmic rays, high-energy particles impacting the retina, while others might be associated with disrupted sleep patterns and the psychological ramifications of solitude. In microgravity, the movement of fluids within the body undergoes transformation, which may have implications for brain function. These space-specific experiences provide scientists with a distinctive viewpoint on the ways in which consciousness adjusts to extreme environments well beyond Earth. Microdosing mind expanders can subtly alter cognitive patterns. Microdosing involves taking very small, non-hallucinogenic amounts of psychedelic substances, like LSD or psilocybin. Users report improved mood, enhanced focus, and increased creativity without the intense visual or emotional effects of a full dose. Initial studies indicate that microdosing could subtly change the connectivity among brain networks, fostering more adaptable thought patterns. However, much of the evidence is anecdotal, and belief-healing responses can be strong. Controlled studies are underway to determine whether the benefits are real, and if so, how they work. The practice remains controversial, but it offers a rare opportunity to explore mild, sustained changes in conscious processing. Some people experience flow states, where time seems to disappear. Flow is a mental state in which a person becomes fully absorbed in an activity, losing track of time and self-awareness. It often occurs during challenging but enjoyable tasks, like playing music, painting, or engaging in sports, where skill and difficulty are perfectly balanced. Brain studies suggest flow involves reduced activity in the inner drift network, which is associated with self-reflection and increased coordination between motor and attention systems. The result is a sense of effortlessness, heightened focus, and intrinsic reward. Flow states show how consciousness can be tuned so precisely that the rest of the world seems to fade away. Certain migraines can cause temporary distortions in perception. Some migraine sufferers experience auras, sensory disturbances that can occur before or during a headache. In rare cases, these auras dramatically alter perception. Straight lines may appear wavy. Objects can seem larger or smaller than they are, and familiar faces may look distorted. These changes are thought to result from waves of electrical activity spreading across the visual cortex, temporarily disrupting normal processing. The effect can be unsettling, but it usually fades within an hour. While migraines are primarily known for their pain, these perceptual shifts reveal how easily the brain's interpretation of reality can be altered. Studying them helps scientists understand the fragile balance of neural activity that produces stable, continuous consciousness, and what happens when that balance is disrupted, even briefly. Déjà vu may be a glitch in the brain's memory processing. Déjà vu, the eerie feeling that you've experienced a moment before, is surprisingly common. One leading theory suggests it happens when the brain briefly misroutes sensory input, sending it to the memory system before conscious awareness. This creates the illusion that the current experience is a recalled memory, even though it's happening for the first time. Another possibility is that déjà vu results from two parallel processing streams in the brain briefly falling out of sync. While most episodes are harmless and last only seconds, déjà vu can occur more frequently in people with certain types of epilepsy, offering researchers a chance to study it under controlled conditions. Understanding déjà vu may offer broader insights into how memory and present moment awareness are linked. Jamais vu creates the opposite effect. Familiar things feel unfamiliar. Jamais vu is the strange counterpart to déjà vu. Instead of a new moment feeling oddly familiar, something well-known suddenly seems strange or unfamiliar. You might look at a common word and then it stops making sense, or walk through your own home and briefly feel lost. Scientists believe jamais vu occurs when the brain's recognition systems momentarily fail, interrupting the automatic sense of familiarity. It can be triggered intentionally through repetition, or it may appear in certain neurological conditions. Though usually fleeting, jamais vu reveals that our perception of familiarity is an active mental process, and like any process, it can be disrupted, changing how we experience even the most ordinary surroundings. The brain can reconstruct the present from slightly delayed signals. It takes time for light to reach your eyes, sound to reach your ears, and sensory information to be processed by the brain. Yet you experience the world as if everything is happening instantly. To achieve this, the brain constantly integrates slightly delayed signals from different senses into a single, unified now. If the delays become too large through technology, injury, or experimental manipulation, the illusion breaks and events no longer feel synchronized. This reconstruction of the present shows that consciousness isn't a raw feed of sensory data, but a carefully assembled version of reality designed to feel seamless. In blending illusions, the mind smooths over missing information. Our senses don't capture every detail of the world around us, but the brain fills in gaps automatically, creating a continuous experience. In certain visual illusions, moving objects may disappear briefly, yet we still perceive smooth motion because the brain blends past and future information. This process helps maintain stability in a constantly changing environment, but also means our conscious perception can be subtly inaccurate without us realizing it. Studying blending illusions shows how much of awareness is about prediction, the brain using prior knowledge to create the most likely picture of what's happening. Even when data is incomplete, near-death experiences can include feelings of peace and detachment. People who come close to dying sometimes report vivid experiences, floating above their bodies, moving through a tunnel toward light, or feeling an overwhelming sense of calm. These sensations may be linked to changes in brain chemistry and electrical activity caused by extreme stress or lack of oxygen. While interpretations vary, from biological explanations to spiritual beliefs, the consistency of these reports across cultures makes them a significant subject of study. Understanding near-death experiences may help scientists learn how consciousness operates at the edge of life and death. Some people experience full life reviews in seconds. In rare moments of extreme danger, individuals have described seeing their life flash before their eyes. This phenomenon can include vivid recollections of events spanning decades, often with strong emotional detail. Researchers believe this may result from the brain rapidly activating memory networks under stress, possibly as part of a survival mechanism. Although the exact trigger is unclear, the speed and clarity of these life reviews suggest that the brain can access and process enormous amounts of stored information in very little time. Studying this effect could shed light on how memories are organized and retrieved. The sense of self may be a constant brain-built illusion. Neuroscientists increasingly view the self as a mental construct, a model the brain continuously updates to predict and control behavior. This model integrates sensory input, memories, and goals into a stable-seeming identity. Yet it can be disrupted by injury, mental illness, or certain drugs, revealing its constructed nature. Conditions like depersonalization disorder, where people feel detached from themselves, show that the self is not fixed, but fluid. If the self is an illusion, it's one the brain works hard to maintain, because without it, navigating the world becomes far more difficult. Even simple organisms show rudimentary decision-making. Single-celled organisms like amoebas and bacteria lack nervous systems. Yet, they can move toward food sources, avoid harmful environments, and adapt to changes. These behaviors are driven by chemical signaling rather than conscious thought, but they show that basic decision-making doesn't require a brain. Studying these organisms offers clues about the evolutionary steps that may have led to more complex forms of awareness. They demonstrate that purposeful behavior is a spectrum, and consciousness may be just one point along it. Slime molds can navigate mazes without a nervous system. Slime molds are single-celled organisms that can grow into sprawling networks. In experiments, they have been placed in mazes with food at 2 exits. Over time, the slime mold retracts from dead ends and builds the shortest possible path between the food sources, effectively solving the maze. This ability arises from chemical feedback and growth patterns, not neurons. Yet it resembles problem-solving. Such behavior challenges our definitions of intelligence and decision-making, showing that even life without a brain can adapt in surprisingly efficient ways. Your brain keeps functioning during light sleep stages, Light sleep, which occurs during stages 1 and 2 of the sleep cycle, is not a complete shutdown of consciousness. The brain continues to process external sounds, body sensations, and even fragments of conversation. This is why you might wake easily during light sleep. If someone says your name, EEG readings show a mix of slower brain waves with occasional bursts of faster activity called sleep spindles. These spindles are thought to help block out irrelevant sensory input while still keeping you responsive to important signals, such as a baby crying or an alarm sounding. Light sleep plays a crucial role in transitioning between wakefulness and deeper stages of rest. And it may also be a time when the brain rehearses certain memories, preparing them for consolidation later in the night. Sleep deprivation can cause hallucinations after just a few days. Staying awake for prolonged periods doesn't just cause fatigue, it can profoundly alter perception. After about 72 hours without sleep, many people begin experiencing visual distortions, shadowy figures in peripheral vision, or even complex hallucinations. These occur because the brain struggles to maintain stable processing without the restorative effects of sleep, particularly in areas that regulate attention and sensory integration. In extreme cases, sleep deprivation can trigger paranoia or symptoms resembling acute psychosis. The hallucinations typically vanish once normal sleep resumes, but the experience shows how essential rest is for maintaining coherent, reliable consciousness. Long-term sleep loss can resemble psychosis. Chronic sleep deprivation over weeks or months can cause severe cognitive and emotional changes. People may experience confusion, memory lapses, heightened anxiety, and a distorted sense of reality. The brain's prefrontal cortex, vital for decision-making and impulse control, is especially vulnerable to prolonged lack of rest. Over time, sleep loss can produce symptoms similar to psychotic disorders, including delusions and auditory hallucinations. These effects underscore the link between sleep and mental health, and why adequate rest is essential for sustaining normal consciousness. In many cases, restoring healthy sleep patterns can reverse these symptoms, but extended deprivation can have lasting impacts on brain function. Chronic insomnia can disrupt emotional regulation. Insomnia isn't just about feeling tired. It can fundamentally change how the brain processes emotions. Studies show that people with chronic insomnia have heightened activity in the amygdala, the brain's fear and threat detection center, and reduced communication with the prefrontal cortex, which normally helps regulate emotional responses. This imbalance can make daily stresses feel overwhelming and reduce resilience to negative experiences. Over time, poor sleep can contribute to mood disorders like anxiety and depression. Treating insomnia often leads to measurable improvements in emotional stability, suggesting that healthy sleep is one of the brain's most important tools for keeping feelings in balance. The brain actively cleans itself during deep sleep. During the deepest stages of non-REM sleep, the brain's glymphatic system becomes highly active, flushing out metabolic waste products that accumulate during waking hours. This cleaning process involves cerebrospinal fluid flowing through brain tissue, clearing away potentially harmful substances like beta-amyloid proteins, which are linked to Alzheimer's disease. The system works far more efficiently during sleep than when awake, possibly because neural activity slows, allowing space for fluid movement. This nightly maintenance cycle highlights why deep, restorative sleep is essential not just for memory and mood, but for long-term brain health. REM sleep may help integrate emotional memories. Rapid eye movement, REM sleep, is the stage most associated with vivid dreaming, but it also plays a key role in processing emotional experiences. During REM, activity in the amygdala and other emotion-related brain regions remains high, while stress chemicals like norepinephrine are suppressed. This unique state may allow the brain to revisit emotional events in a safe context, reducing their intensity over time. In this way, REM sleep acts like an overnight therapy session, helping integrate challenging experiences into our broader life story. without overwhelming the waking mind. The content of dreams can be influenced from the outside. While dreaming, the brain remains partly open to sensory input from the environment. Researchers have shown that introducing specific sounds, lights, or smells during sleep can subtly shape the storyline of a dream. For example, playing the sound of running water might cause a dream of walking by a river, while the scent of roses could lead to more pleasant dream imagery. This external influence doesn't always work and is more effective in lighter stages of sleep or during REM. The phenomenon suggests that dreams are a blend of internal memory processing and external cues, a reminder that consciousness, even in sleep, is rarely sealed off from the world. Certain sounds or smells introduced during sleep affect dream storylines. Experiments using scent cues like peppermint or smoke have shown that these inputs can change the emotional tone or direction of a dream. Pleasant smells often produce more positive dream experiences, while unpleasant ones can lead to unsettling imagery. Similarly, soft music or gentle sound effects can guide dream themes without waking the sleeper. These findings open possibilities for influencing dreams, for therapy, creativity, or stress relief. Though the technique remains experimental, they also demonstrate how porous the boundary between sleeping and waking consciousness can be. People in REM sleep can respond to yes or no questions. Recent research has shown that lucid dreamers in REM sleep can communicate with experimenters in real time by using agreed-upon movements or subtle facial twitches. Participants can answer yes or no questions while still inside the dream. This breakthrough provides a rare opportunity to study dream consciousness directly, instead of relying solely on people's memories after waking. It also suggests that parts of the brain involved in decision-making and external communication can remain active even in the depths of sleep. Sleep talking can reveal thoughts you didn't mean to share. Somniloquy or sleep talking can occur during any stage of sleep and often happens without the person remembering it. Speech can range from mumbling and single words to full sentences, and while it's usually harmless, it occasionally reveals personal thoughts or feelings. Because sleep talking is unfiltered by waking self-control, it has fascinated researchers interested in the unconscious mind. However, interpreting its content is tricky, as the words may be fragments of dreams or random neural activity. Sleep talking highlights the complex overlap between sleeping and waking brain states. Stroke patients can experience sudden shifts in consciousness. A stroke disrupts blood flow to part of the brain, cutting off oxygen and nutrients. When areas critical to awareness are affected, the result can be sudden changes in consciousness, from confusion to complete loss of responsiveness. In severe cases, a stroke can induce coma or vegetative states, while milder ones may cause brief disorientation or lapses in memory. The type and severity of change depend on which brain regions are impacted. For example, strokes in the brainstem can impair wakefulness entirely, while strokes in the parietal or frontal lobes can alter perception, attention, and self-awareness. Recovery varies widely. Some people regain normal consciousness within hours, while others take much longer or never fully recover. These cases reveal just how dependent our awareness is on precise blood flow and neural activity, and how quickly it can change when those systems are interrupted. Alien hand syndrome makes a limb act without permission. Alien hand syndrome is a rare condition where one hand seems to act independently, performing movements the person did not intend. It's usually caused by damage to the corpus callosum, frontal lobe, or parietal lobe, which disrupts coordination between intention and motor control. People with the condition may watch their own hand, button a shirt, close a drawer, or even undo actions the other hand just performed, all without consciously deciding to move it. The hand feels possessed, yet the movements are purposeful, not random. While the person can see and feel the limb, they cannot stop its actions through willpower alone. This strange separation between intention and movement offers a striking example of how parts of the brain can generate complex goal-directed actions without involving the conscious mind. and how our sense of control is ultimately built on fragile neural cooperation. Rare disorders can make people believe they are already dead. Some individuals develop living ghost belief, a rare psychiatric condition in which they believe they are dead, do not exist, or have lost their internal organs. It often appears alongside severe depression, psychosis, or neurological conditions like brain injury or dementia. Patients may refuse to eat because they believe they no longer need nourishment, or they may insist that their body is decaying. Brain imaging suggests abnormal activity in areas involved in self-awareness and emotional regulation. While uncommon, living ghost belief reveals how our sense of being alive, something we take for granted, is a mental construct built on continuous brain feedback. When that system malfunctions, even the most fundamental truths about existence can be questioned. Treatment usually involves medication, psychotherapy, and addressing any underlying neurological issues. But recovery can be gradual. Cotard's delusion removes the sense of being alive. Cotard's delusion, named after French neurologist Jules Cotard, is one of the most extreme disturbances of self-awareness. People with this condition may insist they are missing organs, that their blood has dried up, or that they have already died. In some cases, they claim the world around them is no longer real. The condition is linked to abnormalities in brain areas, responsible for integrating sensory input with emotional meaning. Without this integration, even accurate sensory information fails to create the normal sense of presence and vitality. Cotard's delusion is rare, but often severe, requiring urgent psychiatric care. For researchers, it's a stark reminder that consciousness isn't just about processing sensory data. It's about assigning meaning to it, and when that meaning collapses, the self can vanish from one's own perception. Capgras' delusion makes familiar people seem like imposters. In Capgras' delusion, a person becomes convinced that someone close to them, often a spouse, friend, or family member, has been replaced by an identical-looking imposter. This condition is believed to stem from a disconnect between facial recognition areas and emotional response centers in the brain. While the patient can consciously identify the person's face, the usual emotional signal of familiarity is missing, leading them to conclude the person must be a double. Capgras' delusion can occur after brain injury, stroke, or in some psychiatric disorders like schizophrenia. It illustrates how much our recognition of people depends not only on visual accuracy, but also on emotional memory, and how consciousness weaves these elements together to create the experience of knowing someone. The brain can delete certain faces from conscious recognition. Some brain injuries cause face memory loss, or face blindness, a condition in which people lose the ability to recognize familiar faces, even their own. The damage typically affects the fusiform gyrus, a brain region specialized for processing facial features. People with face memory loss can still see faces clearly and describe them in detail, but they cannot connect those visual impressions to an identity. They may rely on voice, clothing, or distinctive mannerisms instead. Interestingly, some patients show unconscious recognition. Their heart rate may change when they see a familiar face, suggesting that part of the brain still knows who it is, even if conscious awareness does not. This gap between perception and awareness shows how specialized and vulnerable certain aspects of consciousness can be. Damage to the fusiform gyrus can erase facial recognition ability. The fusiform gyrus, located in the temporal lobe, plays a central role in recognizing faces. Damage to this area, whether from stroke, head injury, or degenerative disease, can cause face memory loss. In severe cases, people cannot recognize close friends, family members, or even themselves in a mirror. Despite this, they can still identify objects and read facial expressions, indicating that face recognition is a highly specialized process, separate from other forms of visual processing. Some patients adapt by focusing on distinctive cues, like hairstyles or voices. Studying fusiform gyrus damage not only helps in rehabilitation, but also deepens our understanding of how consciousness handles highly specific tasks within its broader framework of visual perception. Some people have no mental imagery, a condition called mind's eye blank. Mind's eye blank is the inability to form mental images in the mind's eye. People with this condition can describe objects, recall facts, and recognize faces, but they cannot visualize scenes, people, or places internally. For them, thinking about an apple might bring up facts: red, round, edible, but not an actual picture. Mind's eye blank can be lifelong or result from brain injury. Its discovery has reshaped how scientists think about imagination, memory, and consciousness, showing that vivid mental imagery is not universal. Despite lacking visualization, many people with mind's eye blank lead creative and successful lives, relying on other cognitive strategies. Others experience vivid mind canvas with vivid, instant imagery. Vivid mind canvas is the opposite of mind's eye blank, the ability to generate extremely vivid mental images that feel as real as looking at something directly. People with vivid mind canvas can conjure detailed scenes, colors, and textures at will, often enhancing creativity in art, writing, or design. However, the intensity can sometimes be distracting, as the imagined world can compete with real-world attention. Studies suggest that vivid mind canvas may involve greater activation in visual processing areas when imagining compared to the average brain. This variation in mental imagery ability shows that even something as private as visualization exists on a wide spectrum within human consciousness. Short-term memory can hold about 7 items at once. Short-term memory, also called primary or immediate memory, allows you to briefly store small amounts of information, like a phone number you've just heard, for several seconds. Psychologist George Miller's famous 1950s research suggested that the average capacity is about 7 items, plus or minus 2. This magic number can vary depending on the type of information and the individual. Chunking, grouping items into larger, meaningful units, can extend this limit. For instance, recalling 1492 as a single year is simpler than trying to remember 4 individual digits. The importance of short-term memory is evident in daily activities, whether it's keeping up with a conversation or performing mental calculations. Without it, the connection between the fleeting moment just past and the one to come would be severed, rendering the flow of thought almost unattainable. Working memory allows for the real-time manipulation of information. Working memory resembles a mental workbench. It transcends mere possession of information. It involves engaging with it actively. In the act of calculating a tip, following multi-step directions, or weighing options prior to making a decision, one engages the faculties of working memory. The narrative unfolds through the interplay of the prefrontal cortex, responsible for attention and decision-making, and the parietal regions, which process spatial and numerical information. The capacity of working memory differs among individuals and can be improved to a certain extent, yet it remains closely linked to overall cognitive abilities. The disruption of working memory, whether due to fatigue, stress, or brain injury, poses significant challenges to complex thinking and planning. Long-term memories find their place within the intricate web of distributed brain networks. In contrast to a computer that keeps data in a single place, the brain distributes long-term memories throughout various regions. The visual aspects of a memory might reside in the visual cortex, while sounds are stored in the auditory cortex, and emotions find their place in the amygdala. These elements are interconnected through the hippocampus, which plays a crucial role in organizing and retrieving them. This distributed system enhances the durability of memories. Harm inflicted upon one section might obscure specific elements, yet preserve others unscathed. However, it also signifies that the act of recalling a memory involves a reconstructive process, piecing together fragments from various places. Every retrieval has the potential to gently reshape the memory, intertwining past knowledge with fresh encounters. Emotional events leave a more lasting impression than those that are neutral. When an event of emotional significance occurs, be it a moment of joy or a traumatic experience, the amygdala activates signals that enhance memory retention within the hippocampus. This biological priority holds significant evolutionary importance. Recalling emotionally intense moments enables individuals to recreate favorable situations and steer clear of threats. Emotional memories frequently appear strikingly vivid and intricate, yet they may also be skewed, with some elements amplified, while others fade away. Even decades later, those memories can evoke powerful emotions, as though they happened only moments ago. This connection between emotion and memory reveals the uneven nature of how consciousness retains experiences. It emphasizes the essential elements for survival and the essence of identity. Through suggestion, false memories may be instilled. Memory does not serve as a flawless reproduction. The reconstruction is subject to influence from external information. Experiments reveal that individuals can be influenced to recall events that never took place, merely through consistent suggestion or exposure to deceptive details. These false memories can evoke emotions and sensations that are as vivid and intense as those tied to authentic experiences. In legal contexts, this carries significant consequences for eyewitness testimony. The ease with which our conscious memories can be altered highlights the mind's inherent flexibility and susceptibility to error in its account of history. The recollection of a group may alter the initial memory. As individuals recall events collectively, the conversation can quietly reshape their personal recollections. This phenomenon, referred to as memory conformity, arises from the influence of others' accounts, which can overwrite or merge with our personal recollections. As time passes, a collective yet flawed recollection may take shape, particularly when it appears to be bolstered by social validation. The collective memory can enhance the clarity of details, yet it may also compromise accuracy, fostering a sense of certainty in misinformation. Such effects underscore that memory operates as both a social and personal process, with our understanding of the past frequently influenced by collective as well as individual recollections. Brain implants could potentially bring back memories that have been lost. Researchers are crafting neural prosthetics designed to replicate the brain's intricate memory encoding patterns. Through the observation of electrical activity in the hippocampus during memory formation, and subsequently replaying those patterns, researchers have successfully enhanced recall in studies involving animals and initial human trials. The aim is to assist individuals suffering from brain injuries, dementia, or various memory disorders in reclaiming their lost abilities. Although the technology remains in the experimental phase, it suggests a future in which consciousness may be enhanced or restored through direct interaction with machines, creating a blurred distinction between biological and artificial memory systems. Digital devices have begun to push the limits of human memory. Smartphones, computers, and the internet serve as external repositories, enabling us to relinquish substantial quantities of information that we no longer need to retain in our minds. Psychologists refer to this phenomenon as the Google effect. Understanding how to locate information can lessen the burden of recalling it from memory. While this liberates mental capacity for additional tasks, it may also alter the way our brains prioritize and retain information. Some researchers suggest that society is increasingly dependent on a shared, technology-driven memory, with awareness evolving into a new, interconnected mode of remembrance that bridges both human thought and digital tools. The structure of conscious thought may be shaped by language. Various languages classify and depict the world in distinct manners, shaping how their speakers understand time, space, and connections. For instance, certain languages employ absolute directions such as north and south, rather than relative ones like left and right, which can elevate navigational awareness. Different cultures possess a variety of terms for colors that English combines, which may enhance the ability to distinguish between shades. The concept of linguistic relativity, referred to as the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis, proposes that our consciousness is influenced by the language we use. This influence extends beyond mere vocabulary, affecting the mental frameworks we routinely navigate to utilize. Individuals proficient in several languages might transition between different mental frameworks. Individuals who speak multiple languages frequently describe experiencing nuanced shifts in their identity with each language, feeling more formal in one and more expressive in another. Studies indicate that changing languages can alter attention patterns, influence decision-making styles, and affect emotional responses. This cultural frame switching occurs as each language embodies distinct social norms, emotional connections, and cognitive frameworks. For those who speak multiple languages, awareness can shift with ease, navigating through different mental realms by merely altering their vocabulary. The brains of bilingual individuals might exhibit a later emergence of dementia symptoms. Research indicates that individuals who are bilingual or multilingual may experience symptoms of dementia several years later than those who speak only one language. The act of navigating between languages enhances the brain's executive control systems, fostering what researchers refer to as cognitive reserve. This reserve does not stop dementia from occurring, but it may assist the brain in adapting to damage for a longer period, postponing the visible decline. The advantage manifests in various forms of dementia, such as Alzheimer's disease, and remains unaffected by one's educational background or cultural heritage. Lifelong bilingualism serves as a form of mental exercise, ensuring that essential neural pathways remain active and flexible. Although acquiring a second language later in life might not offer the same degree of safeguarding, it nonetheless stimulates the mind in manners that can foster enduring cognitive well-being and adaptability. The activation of brain regions during inner speech mirrors that of speaking aloud. When one engages in self-talk or contemplates silently, the brain activates numerous regions, akin to those employed in verbal communication. This includes Broca's area, responsible for planning speech, production, and the auditory cortex, which fundamentally processes sound. This inner dialogue serves as a valuable tool for addressing challenges, enhancing memory retrieval, and maintaining self-control, functioning much like a personal coach or storyteller. For some, inner speech occurs often and with great clarity. For some, it is infrequent or slight. Examining inner speech allows researchers to delve into the ways consciousness navigates internal dialogue and understand why this mental rehearsal holds a neurological reality akin to vocal expression, albeit without the auditory component. For some individuals, the presence of an inner monologue is a rare occurrence. While it is commonly believed that everyone possesses a continuous voice in their mind, there are individuals who encounter minimal to no inner dialogue. Rather, their thoughts might manifest as images, abstract ideas, or sensations that are not expressed in words. This distinction may not influence intelligence, yet it implies a significant variation in our experiences of consciousness. Individuals who lack a robust inner dialogue frequently depend on visual or sensory signals for planning or recalling events, and may perceive verbal reasoning as more challenging. The variety of these mental styles calls into question the notion that there exists a singular, universal method of experiencing thought. Some individuals experience a continuous stream of internal conversation. On the opposite end of the spectrum, there are individuals who experience a nearly continuous flow of verbal thought, articulating their actions, dissecting occurrences, or practicing dialogues. The internal chatter serves a purpose in aiding organization and decision-making. However, it can also spiral into an overwhelming force, leading to anxiety or rumination. Brain imaging studies reveal that this ongoing conversation activates language networks, even during periods of rest, especially within the inner drift network. Gaining insight into why certain minds heavily rely on verbal thought while others scarcely engage with it enriches the understanding of the diverse range of conscious experience. The practice of meditation has the potential to alter the brain's physical structure. Extensive meditation practice has been associated with observable alterations in brain structure, MRI scans reveal a notable increase in thickness in regions associated with attention, emotional regulation, and sensory processing, including the prefrontal cortex and insula. The structural changes may contribute to the improved focus, reduced stress, and enhanced emotional stability frequently observed among seasoned meditators. The brain possesses a remarkable capacity to adapt and reorganize itself through practice, a phenomenon known as neuroplasticity. This means that consistent mental training can create enduring physical changes, similar to how exercise transforms muscles. Engaging in mindfulness practice over an extended period can lead to a decrease in activity within the inner drift network. The inner drift network, DMN, comprises a collection of brain regions that engage when the mind drifts or turns its attention inward. Excessive activity in the DMN links to patterns of rumination and self-focused thought, potentially leading to anxiety and depression. Extended practice of mindfulness meditation has demonstrated the ability to calm this network, redirecting brain activity to regions associated with awareness of the present moment. The diminished activity in the DMN might shed light on the reasons mindfulness frequently fosters a more serene and concentrated state of awareness, free from the entanglements of repetitive thought patterns. Deep suggestion trance has the ability to change how one perceives sensations and experiences pain. While under deep suggestion trance, individuals may undergo significant shifts in their perception. Colors might change, sounds could diminish, and even discomfort may be notably lessened. Brain scans unveil changes in the activity of areas responsible for processing sensory input and managing attention, indicating that deep suggestion trance has the potential to transform the interpretation of incoming information. Although not all individuals are equally affected, those who are may experience medical procedures with minimal or no anesthesia while in a hypnotic state. This illustrates the profound impact that belief, concentration, and suggestion can have on one's conscious experience. The phenomenon of belief healing responses illustrates how belief can influence experience. This effect manifests when an individual perceives genuine changes in symptoms after undergoing a treatment devoid of any active ingredient, solely based on their expectation of its efficacy. This transcends mere thought. Brain scans reveal observable alterations in activity and even the release of neurotransmitters. Placebos have the ability to alleviate pain, enhance mood, and influence various other bodily functions. The impact highlights the significant influence that awareness and anticipation have in molding both how we perceive and our physical conditions. Certain theories propose that consciousness is a fundamental aspect of the universe. While the majority of scientists examine consciousness as a byproduct of the brain, certain theories suggest it exists as a fundamental aspect of reality, akin to space or time. This viewpoint, rooted in philosophical concepts like universal mind theory, implies that consciousness may be present in all matter, albeit to different extents. Though contentious, these theories seek to tackle the challenging issue of how subjective experience emerges from physical processes. If accurate, consciousness would not merely be a function of the brain, rather, it would be intricately interlaced with the very essence of the universe. The enigma of consciousness continues to elude resolution. Even after many years of investigation, no comprehensive theory has been able to clarify how subjective awareness arises from the physical brain. Neuroscientists are able to chart the brain areas linked to perception, memory, and decision-making. However, the transition from neural activity to the complex inner experiences we have continues to be a mystery. The exploration of consciousness weaves through the realms of neuroscience, philosophy, physics, and artificial intelligence, each discipline providing insights, yet falling short of a definitive conclusion. At present, the nature of consciousness stands as one of the most enigmatic puzzles in the realm of science. The examination of the very entity that is conducting the examination. Thus, the serene expedition through the concealed realms of consciousness reaches its conclusion. The journey has taken us from the delicate instant when a thought ignites within the mind to the expansive and enigmatic inquiries surrounding the possibility that consciousness could be an essential element of the universe. The exploration has taken place at the fringes, where recollection diminishes, where identity may dissolve, and where consciousness can momentarily vanish, only to re-emerge in surprising manifestations. Even now, as one lies here, the mind remains active, breathing, sensing, weaving together these final impressions before releasing them. The awareness of the individual might be gently easing, with the specifics becoming indistinct at the peripheries, reminiscent of dreams that are slowly dissipating. Perhaps, upon waking, a fact or two will linger in your mind, or maybe they will have faded, leaving behind only a soft sensation of having journeyed through a boundless realm brimming with marvels. The enigmas linger, yet at this moment, there is nothing to unravel, nothing to cling to. Allow your thoughts to drift gently, akin to leaves coming to rest upon calm waters. The day has come to a close. If your eyes remain open, the next video awaits your attention. However, if they remain shut, remain in that place and allow slumber to carry you onward. Thank you for joining Sleep Science Top 1 on our journey to discover 100 wonderful and profound things about consciousness, the most mysterious part of the human being, where all thoughts, emotions, and personal experiences are formed. We hope these gentle, scientifically rich, and inspiring insights have brought you a moment of peace and tranquility, while also sparking your curiosity and appreciation for your own mind. If you find this educational, pleasant, and self-help content valuable, please support the channel by liking to spread positive energy, subscribing to the channel, and turning on notifications so you don't miss the next videos on good sleep, psychology, and brain science. Leaving a short comment, just "thank you, very good," or "good night," is a great motivation for the team to continue delivering high-quality content. Wishing you a deep and peaceful sleep. See you again on our next adventures. Sleep well and have sweet dreams.